Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis, and today we're going to be talking about a few things around the global monetary system reset. So let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So first and foremost, I'm starting with this tweet from Gold Telegraph, and it is discussing the few things around the US dollar. What is here, remember this, the stronger the dollar gets, the more likely we see a wave of defaults and a debt crisis will spread like wildfire. Many are focused on the price of gold in USD terms. Gold is serving its role for many people globally. New international reserve currency coming. By the way, if dollar bulls think that this is net positive for the longevity of the dollar, you are in for a rude awakening. Every passing day, countries are looking for alternatives because they are tired of this financial weapon. We are in the early stages of a monetary system reset. And yes, this is exactly what I have been discussing for a while. And people actually think that this is not going to be gold. For an example, we do see this response here saying agreed, but it's not going to be gold. This is a digital age, not the horse and buggy. And this is I actually want to debunk this a little bit. So talking about a gold-backed system, it doesn't need to be a prehistorical sort of thing where we're going back in time or anything like that. No. With the gold-backed system, we actually discussed the possibility of this being very beneficial. Think about it, right? You have a gold-backed system that is deflationary. It's not inflationary at all, and it is running on DLT rails. This will streamline every single process. This will not only usher us into a digital age, but it'll also keep us in a deflationary age of financial policy. This is what I have been looking at. You know, it's most likely we will see like CBDCs being issued out that are backed by gold reserves instead of, fiat reserves. And we've been seeing a lot of central banks actually, not only hoarding tons of gold, but also moving in on new payment systems centered around DLT technology. So this is what I have been focused more on. And it will also not only, be us moving into a technological advancement around finance and also even monetary systems, but it will also be, incorporating the digital age and also even the gold standard, which I think would be very beneficial overall. Again, we don't have a clear guideline to follow on this. We don't have a few things to really kind of look at or anything like that. If you guys do want to listen to people who think that they have insider knowledge, go ahead, because again, there's nothing to really kind of report on in that aspect, but what we can go off of and make educational guesses from is the information that we do have in front of us, which is the BRICS nations, for an example, acquiring a ton of gold, moving in on new payment systems, and a lot of central banks are also doing the same exact thing, focused on DLT. And also talking about major areas, specifically major names, we do see here from the IMF, just released the September issue of FND, explores the future of money from crypto, CBDCs, and DeFi to cybersecurity and regulation. And we actually have this full-on report over here, and this is from the IMF, their website, this official website, reimagining money in the age of crypto and central bank digital currency. Now, what I thought was very interesting around this entire article is the focus on instant cross-border payments. We do see down here that they are talking about how digital, money itself, or I should say the future of money, is undoubtedly digital. We do see them talking about crypto itself, but also, of course, digital money has been developing for some time already. New technologies hope to democratize finance and broaden access to financial products and also services. A main goal is to achieve much cheaper, instantaneous, domestic, and even cross-border payments. The gains could be especially great for people in developing countries. And they do talk about Bitcoin and even like crypto assets themselves, more so even DeFi, real world problems, stuff like that, even talking about an energy crisis, which we are essentially seeing overseas. And they do put a focus point on central banks down here, but they also do say that regulation is key, and I do agree. I think that we need proper regulation, but we also need, cooperation between not only crypto-driven, players, aka like Ripple and companies similar to Ripple, but also we need cooperation between regulators as well to really kind of look at this market from, a broad perspective, not just a, full on, let's go, extremely hard in regards to regulations and over-regulate the point, or to the point, sorry, where we do slow innovation and kind of stifle it as well. I think that that is the biggest area to really kind of focus on. But we do see down here, like, meanwhile, central banks are considering their own digital currencies. Bank for International Settlements chief and his co-authors suggest that central banks should harness the technological innovations offered by crypto while also providing crucial foundation of trust. Privacy and cybersecurity risk can be managed with responsibly designed central bank digital currency. Adds the Atlantic Council's Josh Lipsky. And yeah, I think that when we look at a few things here, main points are DeFi as well as cross-border payments. Cross-border payments is the market to really kind of look at if you are, an XRP holder, if you have been looking into Ripple. That is the big area and the big focus point. Now, also talking about that, just recently I seen a lot of discussions around if the Fed will utilize XRP. And I actually did say this on Twitter earlier today. I said, I don't write anything off when it comes to Ripple and XRP. Is the Fed utilizing XRP? No one knows. We can only speculate with the information we have and can find. There is not a 100% definitive answer of yes or no when it comes to most things within this market. Remember, this market is, at the end of the day, a very speculative market. I am not going to sit here and say, hey, I have insider knowledge telling me that, XRP is being utilized right now by the Fed and they're going to go live in the next week or so with their Fed Now service with XRP. No. What I will tell you right now is the thing that matters is the underlying information that we know. And that is the connections to Ripple. And we do see here, like Fed Now, Ripple, Digital Dollar Project, Ripple, Digital Euro Association, Ripple, Digital Pound Foundation itself, Digital Dollar Project, Ripple, Digital Pound Foundation, Ripple, United Nations, Ripple, IMF, Ripple, World Economic Forum, Ripple. Sorry for all the hype, but that's the fact, Jack. And again, like when we look at all the connections, Ripple is literally included in nearly every single major thing around digitization of these payment processes. But I will say this, Ripple is not confirmed to be working on FedNow. There is no major connection to FedNow from Ripple besides Volante. And Volante is the big one to pay attention to. We're going to be discussing that here in a second. But first off, shout out to Jungle Inc. XRP on Twitter for this. But we do see FedNow will roll out in stages. Someone will provide /link our domestic payment system to cross-border. The best solution will fill that gap. Brazil PIX system is one of the best in the world. Ripple and others are working to expand their domestic system cross-border. Brazil already has a modern, effective payment system known as PIX. Economies and societies become increasingly digitized. Brazil will need an additional programmable technology layer to settle payments and help fill the gap. The Federal Reserve has included Ripple and others in the development of the FedNow system. Don't you think they understood domestic payments don't need this capability? Of course they do. The plan has always been to expand the system cross-border. This is just step one. Will Ripple provide the infrastructure for making FedNow an international real-time payment solution? I have no idea. Whoever has the best capability will, and that is still being worked out. And again, this is why we look at the best efficiencies around a lot of these payment means. That is what's going to, play the big role here. But when we look at the FedNow service, and when we look at the technology providers, Volante is the big one here. But also, we do see FedNow participants, Temenos and Volante are also Ripple partners. It will be interesting to watch the last mile come together as Joel Katz talks about here, everything is in stages/phases. I do completely agree. And when we look at things around this, shout out to Digital Perspectives on Twitter for this, but here you have the FedNow instant payments, Temenos Transact, Temenos Payments, Temenos Banking Cloud as well. And you do see all of the solution types and things like that. But then over here in another slide, you do see also Volante. And there's a lot of technology providers within this as well. You guys do see all of the other ones there as well. But Volante and Temenos are the big ones, and we do see here. So there is definitely an opportunity here to bridge domestic real-time payment systems such as FedNow, the clearinghouse for USD, with powerful benefits for SMEs and ultimately consumers around the world. And over here on this last slide, we do see the biggest obstacle is often that very last hop, getting the funds to the payment recipient through the domestic payment system. This is why we look at instantaneous, settlement. And then we do see but lacking connectivity to consumer CBDCs won't solve the last mile problem that has made modernizing international payments so difficult. That's why we look at that end goal, that last piece of the puzzle. That is going to solve everything. Could that very well be Ripple with XRP? It is possible. And also over here, shout out to the light shines in the darkness, Matthew Linwai on Twitter. Volante technology is the backed for FedNow and the clearinghouse. Volante Volpay is used by these institutions plus XRP integrated capabilities. And we do see here, by automating wire processing with Volante's FedWire as a service in the cloud, the bank will benefit from resilient, reliable, and scalable payments technology. And we do see over here, Volante. Hello, Volante Tech. Will XRP be a possible settlement mechanism for this platform? Thank you. This goes back to 2020. Volante's platform can be used to settle through XRP via our Ripple connection. We can't wait to get more banks on board. Now, note that it can be used. It's not a guarantee that it will be used. They have a choice here. But when we look into this, right, why is this such an area of focus? Well, we do see here, if half of the clearinghouse is using Volpay, Volante technology, that's $1 trillion per day. XRP could be used by the clearinghouse for these transactions once regulations are implemented. Again, all of this does take a lot of time to blossom out. But this is what we have been focusing on around the technology providers like Volante. The connections to Volante with Ripple and XRP is something special because Volpay itself can utilize Ripple and XRP for settlement. And if that is the case, then this is a huge opportunity, not only for Ripple to get be a part of this major revolutionization of payments, but also XRP to be utilized for the settlement token. This is what we have been really kind of watching for closely, but there's no 100% confirmation that, for an example, like the Federal Reserve will utilize XRP at all. I'm just going to be 100% with you. But to me, I will say this. It is confirmed that Volante will be utilized within this process. Does that open the door for Ripple and XRP to be utilized? 100%. But we still need to see what is going to happen here. I'm not writing anything off. Like I said, I don't write anything off when it comes to Ripple and XRP just because of how, how many connections there are, but also how great the power and the potential from RippleNet with XRP, or even just XRP itself, does provide for payments and settlement means. And also, even shout out to Anderson over here. With all of the talks about FedNow, David Schwartz mentioned the benefits of domestic real-time payments in a speech. XRP would bridge different real-time payment systems. And this is that quota image that we just talked about with, digital perspectives. This is what we need to look at, the benefits here. The overall capabilities that RippleNet with XRP, for an example, provides, or even just XRP itself. This is the big area that we need to watch for, because at the end of the day, the best process, the best solution will be utilized. And we know how large of an area, Ripple has been focused on in regards to beneficial technology within the specific, industry and sector has made it. They have innovated further and further every single year since they officially came out to talk about cross-border payments, which was their in-depth scope since day one. So to me, Ripple would be the best solution here for cross-border payments and for, again, domestic system cross-border payments itself, and really kind of fill that gap. But I'm not going to say it's 100% solidified here at all. But last but not least, I do also have this tweet here from Scotla29569777 on Twitter. What a name. But we do see here, as the XRP community is so interested in payment rails, here is some information. Banks and the Federal Reserve will resolve issues that stem from tightening liquidity aided by a congruent data format, ISO 20022. No, do not dismiss people if you yourself do not understand the subject. Now, when we look at, ISO 20022, do I think that this is going to be a huge game changer here? Not necessarily, but it does allow for these, specific I would say networks as well as currencies to be utilized within the system, because it does benefit greatly in regards to interoperability and messaging itself between a lot of these major names as well as payment systems. But what we have been looking at is payment rails, and really kind of disrupting the payment rails themselves provides a ton of value to be transacted over something like Ripple utilizing XRP. But first off, we got to look at things here, because XRP is not ISO 220, or I should say ISO 20022 compliant. Ripple, the company, is. That's the big thing here. For an example, They could utilize Ripple's liquidity hub. They could also utilize Ripple Net. It doesn't mean that they have to utilize XRP. And that is also what we are seeing here. For an example, Ripple Net, no XRP. Ripple's on-demand liquidity, yes, XRP will be utilized. Ripple's liquidity hub, no XRP again. They do have the opportunity to utilize XRP with the liquidity hub, but it's not, they have to utilize it or anything like that. What can be solved through on-demand liquidity, though, which in my opinion is probably one of the biggest areas of focus, is this. Fedwire is owned by the Federal Reserve, and it is a real-time gross settlement system of central bank, money used by Federal Reserve banks to transfer funds electronically between member institutions. Settles in USD, but can settle cross-border. However, it must be processed through a corresponding bank if denominated in another currency. This can be solved with Ripple's on-demand liquidity. November 21st, 2022, ISO 20022 messages are capable or compatible for Fedwire. Fedwire services use traditional retail payment methods to move funds between accounts, building financial obligations between banks. So when we look at, on-demand liquidity, basically anything that needs to be bridged, anything that needs to, really kind of have that instant settlement mechanism between it that is completely diverse in itself, aka different fiat currencies, different CBDCs, etc., could utilize on-demand liquidity, powered by XRP. That's the big area. The major area has always been cross-border payments. Cross-border payments has always been the focus, at least in my opinion, around XRP's value. But is that a bad thing? Again, a lot of people think that all because we talk about cross-border payments, that it already means that XRP is basically doomed. It is a $156 trillion market at the current moment. It is projected to reach $200 trillion within the next 3 to 5 years. That is a very substantial amount of money. Settlement is a big issue that plagues that industry. So when we look at that, the value of XRP could be very great if we do accomplish the fact of bridging that massive market. We don't know specifically where the price could be. We could only kind of calculate off of valuations that we do know, but it would be a substantial amount in regards to what XRP would be worth. But I'm not going to sit here and speculate too much on that. All we do know is that the connections to Ripple with XRP as well are very substantial. When we look at what's happening right now, we are seeing a global monetary reset. Liquidity and settlement is the focus. Cross-border payments has always been the big area of focus as well from the monetary, major names, aka like the IMF, WEF as well, and even like the government entities as well, because cross-border payments are a very, very, major problematic area within finance and payments. So when we look at this, to me, going forward, everyone should be focused on cross-border payments. Everyone should be focused on the big change around the financial landscape. I believe that Ripple with XRP does play a vital role, but we have to wait and see what actually happens going forward. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys have more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As it's up to you all, have a beautiful day, beautiful night, wherever you guys are on this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.